Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, I thank you so much for being a part of this little itty bitty podcast reading that you and I are embarking on and learning the travels of our forefathers and foremothers as they have survived these crazy world and the crazy lands that we are on right now. And all of us are on this journey. And this journey is littered with deception. It is littered with the powers that be doing everything possible to affect our minds, our hearts, our souls. They do it through chemicals, they do it through regular drugs, they do it through programming, television programming. And the lies are all around us. And the lies have us stuck in literally what one may call the matrix. And for anybody that has ever seen or understand the concept of the matrix, it is a world that has been pulled over our eyes, a world of complete deception. In this world, they tell us we're little monkeys spinning on a water ball, hurtling through space. They tell us all of this propaganda day in and day out. They are constantly programming people with occult numbers and occult actions. And we are ruled by secret societies that are anti-Yahuwah and full-on Luciferian. We are governed by those who pretend to be something that they are not. Because most of the normal people, you and me, that are out there, if we knew the truth of what really and who the leaders of this world were, we would be running further and faster to our Creator and to His ways. Because we have been given a book, and it's called the Scriptures. And in this book, we have the first 5 books of Scriptures, and they call that the Torah. And it's also called the books of instruction. And it is also the precepts and is the commandments and is the ways of our Creator as He has asked all of us to live, how He wishes we operate, how He wishes we govern ourselves, our family, our diets, our businesses. Every last bit of the Torah is a vital piece of the information that has been hidden from us. And in this matrix world of devilish demons and ghouls that are always trying to hide all of our knowledge, they have hidden the laws of our Creator, and they have told us things that the laws have been nailed to the cross. They have told us things that our Creator and His Son are the exact same entity. And so they have people that are praying to the Son instead of the Father. They have told us that the salvation is a simple thing to achieve, that nobody needs to keep the laws of our Creator because they've been abolished. They tell us little things here and there that are itty bitty fragments of the actual truth. And then they tell people and they send people to these 501c3 churches of the devil that worship on the wrong day, that give you tickle your ear good words, that everybody thinks that they can go on a Sunday and they can worship and they have salvation, and that nobody will ever be able to stop the salvation. So we continue on in this state of darkness, in this state of despair, in a state of bondage, real bondage. The people who are Torah-less are slaves to the devil, and a lot of people will never ever wake up. We are told throughout scriptures that there's a little gate that a lot of people get through, but to the left and to the right is the sides of destruction. And this narrow path that we are told to stay on is indeed a narrow path. And it is a path of true freedom. You see, the Torah is completely opposite of what the people have told us. Instead of it being something in the old days that only the old people kept, it's something that is actually for all generations and all peoples and all creeds, races. It doesn't matter what skin color you are or where you are from wherever at in these lands. There's one Torah for you, and there's one Torah for those who are our creators. It's all the same Torah. And when we realize that we have not just been thrown down here and we're billions of light years away from our creator. In fact, our creator sitting outside a firmament, looking in, observing his creations as they go about. Then it becomes very clear that our Father truly cares about us in the sense that he left us good instructions. Not only did he leave us good instructions, but he left us amazing prophets. Prophets and those who have given up their lives, given up their bodies, given up everything that they had to get the message to the people and to preserve the word of our Creator. Now, we live in such a dark, dark realm that people openly serve Lucifer. But yet the people that openly don't serve Lucifer are the ones that are still deceiving people because they don't know any better, because they have never read their scriptures. They have never sat down and read the first 5 books of scriptures and learned and prayed for understanding and prayed for wisdom, that our Creator would open their eyes, that they would be part of the remnant, that they would be part of Yah's chosen people. We have groups of people that call themselves God's chosen people. These are the same people that have abortion clinics from one side of their country to the next. You have all of these billions of people in hundreds of thousands of different religions, and they're all saved. When you explain to them things that are in the scriptures, they will pick up rocks and they will stone you. They will laugh at you and mock you openly. You become a laughing stock, and all you can do is look with sad eyes and a broken heart and realize that these people are going to be heard things from Messiah's mouth to say, "Depart from me, you who are lawless." Now, the road to redemption and the way to the Torah is not a hard road. And when you understand the Torah and you understand the laws of our Creator, they are simply amazing. They are things that you will have a better, prosperous life. I'm not talking about riches. I'm not talking about mammon. I'm not talking about an easy road. But your life and your soul will prosper in the ways of our Creator as you start keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. And there's no better feeling than when you are on the path of our Creator, that you are able to say, you know what, I'm doing everything possible that I can because I'm keeping this Torah with all of my heart, with all of my mind, and with all of my soul. Not only that, as I love it so much that I have written it on my doorposts, I have put it on the gates of my house, and I've impressed it into my children. I have made sure that they realize that it's not about Santa Claus and Christian Easter worship and all of this garbage, but that it is about a walk, a different walk that sets us apart. When we are told we must separate ourselves from the world, that's not a joke. The world is there to deceive you and to bring you back into the matrix. And the only way that you can be free from this matrix is by breaking through with the Torah and breaking through with our Messiah. Now, our Messiah is the Neo of the movies. He is the one that has come to pull us out of this matrix. And there's a lot of people that they only know Messiah Yahushua. They think they know him. But when they act in a way that is un-Torah-like, then they don't know him at all. Those who cast out spells and cast out demons and cast out all these evil things in the name of our Messiah, but yet they don't keep the Torah, they have been deceived. We need both parts of this puzzle to make this kingdom to come. And this book that we are reading today, which is out of the Yah Scriptures, which is the greatest English translation that has ever been presented to us. And this big blue book is 3,153 pages of pure joy, pure knowledge, truth, the restored name of our Creator, the restored name of his Son. And this is a limited edition that you are seeing right before you. Or you can go to the Google Play Store if you have an Android app and just type in Yah Scriptures, and you get the big blue book right to your devices. And this app and all of these things are things that don't require the internet. They are built for the long term, to where we don't have internet, but yet we have downloaded this, we have put it on our devices. There's no ads, there's no spyware, there's no nothing. It's just a straight scriptures that is from the hand of the Most High that has been delivered to all of us in these end times. And it is something that is one of the greatest things that our Creator has ever done, is give us this word. And when we have the word in the restored name version, to where the names of our Messiah isn't Jesus, but is Yahushua, Yeshua, Yah is with us, salvation. Those are what the names mean, right? We don't have that. When you say Jesus, that doesn't mean salvation. That doesn't mean Yah is with us. It means Jesus. Prior to that, the deceivers in the Matrix have said his name was Isis. Isis. Where have we heard that before, right? That's the made-up name of all of these counterintelligence forms and groups of people that have put it on the programming TV, that have marched us into wars across the world, that have deceived us, that constantly, when you turn your television programming on, you are getting programmed in a bad way. We don't need TV. We don't need music. We don't need movies. We need the hand of our Creator guiding our life in every last way. And it is with that, guys, I invite you guys, if you guys would like to get the Yah Scriptures, you can go to yahscriptures.com. Again, the Big Blue Book is a limited edition print. The paperback, they're on their way. They're coming very, very soon. The paperback right now is $25. This Big Blue version is $95. It's over $350 cheaper than any other scriptures out there that has somewhat what this has. But I have never found a book that has as many books as this has, with the restored names and as proper as they are. So guys, get them while you can. Share them with your friends. They are going to be a heritage. It's going to be something that is something you can pass on to your kids when you go. It's something that should sit on every bookshelf of every house, so that we have the truth, not just in digital form, but we have it also in book form. Now, what we're going over today, guys, is one of the most amazing prophets of our time. A prophet that came and did it, and without him, our world would never be like the world is. And we are reading out of this book of 2nd Ezra, and we are in chapter 4 today. And before that, let us go through the first 3 chapters. I'm going to give you guys a cliff note, the recap, so that those of you who have not been this far into this reading series can jump right in with us, and you can see the amazingness, because the incredible part of the story is just about to happen. And right now, I'm on day 2 of my fast. And that is one thing about Ezra. Ezra is a fasting machine. And the hand of our Creator goes very, very hard when people are fasting. You can get a lot of things done. And, there's a lot of science behind fasting. And a lot of the fasting it'll heal your body very, very quickly. Your lesions will heal up, things up within your body. By the time you hit day 2, day 3, day 4, it's very uncomfortable. It is very hardcore. I don't know how our Messiah did it. I don't know how those that go 40 days do it. You really have to get yourself into a tough space, a place of mental toughness that you're able to get through it. And this is what my journey as of late is. I'm trying to get at least 4 days of fasting every single week. And as you go through these fasts, it is it's harder to start, because once your body goes through some crazy changes. When I start eating after not eating, it's not good things that happen. You don't feel very good. You kind of feel ill, and kind of feel a little anorexic at some points, because I feel really guilty that I've stopped my fast. And it's one of these things that it takes the strength of our Creator, who will give it to us as we are trying to seek Him during our fasting. Now, chapter 1 of the 2nd book of Ezra says this: Yahuwah speaks through Ezra, rebuking Israel for forsaking his Torah and turning to false mighty ones. Then he brought them out of Mitzrayim, though he brought them out of Mitzrayim, with signs and wonders. They did not walk in his ways, nor guard his commands. Now, we talked about this recap before, and as we read through it, this is the same message that all of us have today. Our Creator is still calling all of us, whether it's me that you hear on a YouTube channel, or other Torah keepers that are begging you and pleading you to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And this is one of the reasons that we don't have a tremendous amount of loyal listeners that listen to this, is because my message is a lot of the same. My message is, and always will be, that there's a remnant, there's a group of people, and it's a small group of people that truly are Torah observant people. And it's with this Torah observant people that we become the children of the Most High. Continuing on in chapter 1, Yahuwah warns he will reject this rebellious generation and show favor to other nations who will not forget his name. A remnant shall guard his statutes, while those who despise his covenant will be judged. Chapter 2 says, Yahuwah continues, saying he will gather a renewed people from the north and the east, those who have not seen Jerusalem yet believe in his name. He speaks words of comfort to Ezra, revealing that those who stand fast shall be crowned by his son, whom he calls my Ben. Trinity-breaking verses, right? All of Scriptures is Trinity-breaking Scriptures. When our Creator says he is one, and our Messiah says he is not Elohim, but he is the Son, we have to take them at their word. When you don't keep your word, we know that people are liars, and we can't consider that our Creator and his Son are liars. There's no reason to read more into things than what we have. And you have tremendous amount of Torah keepers that believe in this oneness. And when you research where it came from the Creed of Nicaea in 325 AD. 325 years after our Messiah walked the land, you had a religious cult that is run by Satanists that have decreed this. Now, continuing on, he says his son, whom he calls his Ben, the righteous one, shall be revealed, and a great multitude will receive white garments, palms and crowns for their steadfastness. Ezra sees his vision and praises the Son of Elohim, who crowns those who overcame in the name of Yahuwah. This is what we want to do, right? When you don't have the Torah, you don't know Yahuwah. You don't know Messiah Yahushua. And so it is very, very important that we learn the Torah and we read it ourselves. That we read this at least 5 times as a people slowly. And that's just the beginning, right? We should always be going through the Torah. We should always be revisiting this, reading scriptures with our family, putting them to bed with scriptures. Chapter 3 says, in the 13th year after Jerusalem's destruction, Ezra begins to fast and cry out to Yahuwah. He recalls how Yahuwah chose Abram and made a covenant with him. Ezra traces the history from Abram to Moshe, noting how Yahuwah gave the Torah on Mount Sinai, yet Yisrael still transgressed. Ezra pleads for understanding. How is it that this wicked reign in Yisrael, who once had the light and the promises, now suffers? He cries out over the seeming prosperity of the nations and the affliction of the righteous seed. And that is one of the big things with Ezra. He's wondering, and he's asking Yah. He's like, why is it that the wicked prosper? Why is it that those who are unclean in their ways and their actions and their deeds, why is it that they prosper in this world? And these are the things we're about to learn. We're about to learn a tremendous amount. Now, what you're looking at right before you is you're looking at the Yah Scriptures. It is online, free of charge. You guys can go to Yah Scriptures. You can go to yahscriptures.com. There's a version of it there if you don't want to use the Google Play Store, or if you want to go to the Google Play Store, you just type in Yah Scriptures, and this is there. All 103 books of amazingness are there. All of the Apocrypha, all of the hidden books that have been pulled out are now for our viewing understanding. Now, here we are. 2nd Ezra 4, verse 1, excuse me. And the messenger that was sent to me, whose name was Uriel, answered me. This is to Ezra, right? This is after Ezra was fasting. And he said, your heart has gone too far regarding this world. And do you think to understand the way of the Most High? Then I said, yes, my master. And he answered me and said, I have been sent to show you 3 ways, to put forth these 3 situations before you, of which if you declare to me one, I shall also show you the way that you desire to see, and I shall show you from where the wicked heart comes. And I said, speak on, my master. Then he said to me, go your way, weigh the weight of fire, or measure the blast of the wind, or recall the day that is past. Okay, now we are in long before you had a way to measure the wind, right? We can measure some bursts of wind now. We are living in the end days, right? We're living 5,000 some years after the days of this, and this is 4,000 something. And this was a mission impossible. When he gave he gave Ezra 3 things that if he could come up with the answer to one of them, then he would give him the answers that his heart was looking for. So we're supposed to weigh fire. What is the weight of fire? And I'm sure nowadays people can actually weigh it and figure this stuff out using technology. But again, back then we don't have iPhones and cell phones and computers and any kind of technology. Didn't even have power. Didn't even have electrical power like we do today. Okay, so we know we're not going to be able to weigh the weight of fire. Back in the day, how are you going to measure the blast of wind? It comes out of nowhere. It comes blasting. Down here where we are in Central America, we have windy parts of our season, and it feels like it's going to rip the roof off. It is so powerful. We have no idea the actual speed that it hits at, but these gusts come, and all we can do is sit and guess and sit and look at our roof as we wonder if it's just the tin is going to be ripped to shreds. Well, those two we're not going to be able to do. So how do we recall the day that has passed? Okay, how do we bring up and how do we get into the day of the past, right? The only way that nowadays we can even do it is by cheating. We can record things, right? We can set them on our little fallen angel technology that we have that is all around us, our cell phones and all of these cameras and all these things. But still, it's not true, right? It's only a recording of the day past. We can't get back into this. So all three of these things that our friend Ezra has just been requested, what does he do? 6. Then I answered and said, what man is able to do this, that you should ask such matters of me? And he said to me, if I should ask you how many dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the source of the deep, or how many fountains are above the expanse, or which are the exits of Sheol, or the entrances of paradise? Wow, right here we are learning so many things, guys, right? We're learning things that we don't know. And even as much as the world has mapped all this stuff that they supposedly mapped, right? They have us on these round ball, which, you know, those in Australia would literally be on their heads if this was a round ball like they are telling us. But yet we're so large, it really doesn't matter that we're upside down. But yeah, if you stand on your head for a little bit, or if you go skiing and go upside down and you're in the snow upside down, it's pretty obvious something's not right. You can tell these things aren't going well. So the question of how many springs are the source of the deep, oh boy, howdy. How would we even know that, even today's technology? What about how many fountains are above the expanse, right? Okay, why is the sky blue? Well, are we looking at water outside of the firmament? Are we looking at fountains above the expanse? Who knows? We just don't know things. What about the exits of Sheol, right? We know of Sheol. We know of a bad place of Sheol, and we know of a good place. We know that when we die, this is where our waiting room is. So we don't even know where Sheol is. How would we know where the exits are? And what about the entrances of paradise? Oh, wow. How do we figure this out, right? There's only been a couple of people that have not died per se, like regular man have died. Where did they go? How do they enter in? If their souls weren't, pulled out of their bodies and they went in as human form, where are those entrances at? Right? Are they right above us? Are they where do we do? A lot of this is just simply speculation. Verse 8, however, you might say to me, I never went down into the deep, neither as yet into Sheol, nor did I ever climb up into the Shamayim. Nevertheless, I have only asked you of the fire and wind, and of the day, though, through which you have passed, and of that from which you cannot be separated. And yet you give me no answer of them. He said further to me, that which is your own, and what you have grown up with, you cannot know. How then should your mind be able to know the way of the Most High, and the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is clearly in my sight? Guys, and we're 4,000 some years after Ezra, and you can look at this deception that is all around us, right? You have deception in every last aspect of our worlds. All of our food supply is poisoned. Our water supplies are poisoned. They're dropping chemicals from the skies that are hurting us and harming us. We have supposedly 1 in 31 kids that are autistic, and I say it's far more than that. You have all of these things, and it's right before our eyes what the answers are. Because for those with the eyes to see and ears to hear, we know what is happening. But for the rest of the world, they're walking around like zombies. They're doing what the powers that be say. They're conforming to the world. Remember the events of 2019, 2020, and 2021? People lined up. People did what the powers that be said to do. And then everybody wonders, what's going on? How is it that everybody's sick anymore? And it's very, very clear. But like I was beginning to say, and this was, the intros aren't planned. When I do these videos, I have no idea what I'm about to say. It honestly is just, we just start talking. And this is absolutely piece of this matrix, right? This is what the back in the day, Uriel is even telling Ezra. He's like, look at the outwardly corrupted, right? How do you understand the corruption that is clearly in my sight? Verse 12. Then I said to him, it would be better that we were not at all, than that we should still live in wickedness and to suffer and not to know why. He answered me and said, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel and said, come, let us go and fight against the sea, that it may depart before us, and that we may make more forests. The floods of the sea also similarly took counsel and said, come, let us go up and subdue the forests of the plain, that there also we may make ourselves more territory. Two hypotheticals, right? Two different scenarios of two different things that are trying to take over the world, take over something that they are not meant to take over. This is some incredible reading, guys. This is so hardcore. I've been waiting weeks to get to these verses and these things so that we can discuss these and I can learn more, that we can all learn more together as a family. 16, the plan of the forest was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. The plan of the floods of the sea came likewise to naught, for the sand stood up and stopped them. If you were to judge now between these two, whom would you begin to declare right, or whom would you condemn? I answered and said, truly it is a foolish thought that they have both devised, for the ground is given to the forest, and the sea also has its place to hold its floods. Then he answered me and said, you have given a right judgment, but why do you not judge yourself also? For as the ground is given to the forest, and the sea to its floods, even so those who dwell on earth may understand not, but that which is on the earth. And he who dwells above the Shamayim may only understand that which is above the height of the Shamayim. Huge stuff to understand, right? As humans, we have been given a place. We have been given a spot that those who are in the Shamayim may not understand. Just like we have no idea what it's like to be in the Shamayim. We've been told all our lives that we're going to be sitting on a cloud playing some musical instrument, right? You have the church of Satan, the people that are out there telling you that you're going to be raptured. They're saying, oh yeah, watch for the rapture. You had all these people in 2020, 2019, 2021 that they did nothing because they're awaiting a rapture. You have people that are they do not think that tribulation and affliction is going to come their way, when very clearly in scriptures, it talks about us all dying. Some of us in a very violent way. So we have to understand that what we know is sometimes not, there's other things. Ezra's heart was yearning for this information. He was trying to figure it out. 22. Then I answered and said, please, Yahuwah, let me have understanding. For it was not my thought to be curious of the ways above, but of such that pass by us daily, namely, why Israel is given up as a reproach to the Gentiles, and for what cause the people whom you have loved are given over to wicked nations, and why the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants nullified. Guys, this is the world we live in right now. We live in a world where the laws of our forefathers are brought to naught. when you have tossed the laws of our Creator on the tree, when you have said they're fulfilled, you don't even know them, you don't care about them, you are bringing them to naught. Why is this? Why do we still live in this day? Ezra was wondering about this back in the day. I'm wondering about it right now. 24. As we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain kindness, what shall he then do for his name by which we are called? Of these matters I have asked. So Ezra very clearly says, Uriel comes and gives him all these what we would call riddles and puzzles and things that are we as humans wouldn't know. And Ezra just puts it back. He goes, I don't want to know all that. I'm sure he would, but that's not what his question was. He wants to know why the wicked thrive, why Yisrael is in such a state of despair. Why do people laugh and mock at us when we tell them about the Torah and about the ways of our Creator? Why? Then he answered me and said, the more you search, the more you shall marvel. For the world hastens to pass away and cannot understand that which is promised to do the righteous in time to come. To the righteous in the time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and sickness. Amen. Amen. Is this not ring true? Right? We are in a world of sickness. The men have become women. People, the demons like Larry Flint and all the people that did Playboy back in the day, the nudie magazines and all of this. And it went to the internet, which is all a DARPA-based system, which was all... everything is meant to speed up technology, and now we live in the world of artificial intelligence. We live in a world where you can download the entire world's data set onto your own computer, and you never even have to have the internet. And you can do anything that you want to do because you have all of this information. Whereas when I was a kid, I had to go deal with the Dewey Decimal System in the library. I had to go grab a ladder and slide it down and climb up and attempt to find a book. And then I go and open the book and try to find the little piece of information that I want. And now you can do all of that in 8 keystrokes and hit enter. And all of this information is at your fingertips. We are at the age of the end. We are in the world of CRISPR. We are in the world of devils and demons corrupting our DNA and destroying humanity in a way that has never, ever happened before. This is the reasons that we need to be astute with our Creator. We need to be Torah-based. Continuing on. 28. But concerning that of which you ask me, I shall tell you. For the evil is sown, but its destruction has not yet come. And 4,000 years later, it still has not come, and the evil is thriving and jiving and getting crunk. They are running a war upon humanity. It's a depopulation war, right? It is something that these eugenicists have said for decades and decades and decades. These psychopaths have all said, there's too many people. And then you have people like Billy Bob, who says, with some good health medicine, we can bring that population down a little bit. And this is what you see in front of us, right? You see a world that is dying. You see humanity that is no longer fully human. You see sickness that is all around us. And we have to be very, very astute in the ways of our Creator. If therefore that which is sown is not removed, and if the place where the evil is sown is not turned over, then it cannot become sown with good. This is called plowing the field, right? If therefore that which is sown is not removed, and if the place where the evil is sown is not turned over, it cannot become sown with good. So the evil has to thrive. The evil has to grow up. Everything has to become darker, eviler, worse than it already is for the end to truly begin. For the grain of evil seed has been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. And how much more wickedness has it produced to this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing comes? These are all end-time prophecy stuff, right? This is explaining to us why the evil has to do what it does. This is why we are looking at a dying world that is full of evil. Luciferians, Freemasons, the cult people, all of these people that serve the second in command. And it's the first in command of this world, but it's the second in command of Yahuwah. Yahuwah shot him down like lightning falls to the ground. Lucifer used to be a leader in the groups of the people of Shamayim. He used to be a warrior for our Creator. He's a musician. He was the one that was in charge of all the music. That's why music is so demonic. That's why they have changed all the tunes and the tones that used to be things of normalcy, and now they've changed the octaves, and it's no longer what it used to be. That's why you have all of these musicians. They've all sold their soul to Satan. They can all pop this music out, and kids can just bob their heads. They have no idea what the lyrics are, but the lyrics are all demonic. The lyrics are all sowing the seeds of demons and devils so that you're out there singing this stuff as your mind is corrupted by the evil that is coming through. And it has to go. It has to get bigger. We have to see the end before we can begin. Consider now for yourself what great fruits of wickedness the grain of evil seed has brought forth. And when the heads are cut down, which are without number, how great a floor they shall fill. Then I answered and said, how and when shall these come to pass? Why are our years few and evil? And he answered me, saying, do not hasten more than the Most High. For it is worthless for your haste to be more than his, for you have over exceeded. Okay, why are you worrying about things that you can't control, right? For those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear, we can see the end as it has begun. We can see that there is not going to be humanity left in a decade from now. It's not going to exist like it's going to exist now, right? Human jobs are being overtaken by robotics. Inside the next less than a year, you're going to see humanoid robots with AI, large language models, moving in and around us, right? It's a very dangerous precedent that we are in, and there's no stopping it. The technology every single day right now is a 10-year span 10 years ago. That's where we are at, and everything is moving so fast. AI never sleeps. It is something that is, if you do not embrace it, it will overtake every aspect of our life, and it already has. You can't even do a search on Google or any search engine without sending AI information. And I know there's people on this channel, they're like, oh, Jason, you shouldn't even be using AI. I will tell you, I use AI every single day in the jobs and the tasks that I do, because I have lived in the IT world all my life. And as much as it is a tool, it is also the same kind of tools that the internet was. The same people that say you shouldn't be using AI, you would probably say you shouldn't be using the internet. At the same point, the people that have used cell phones, you should say, no, that you shouldn't be using cell phones. Every last bit of technology as it comes forth is used for good, and it's also used for evil. And it's something that everybody has to understand. It's not AI in of itself that is evil. It is the people that use the tools of computational work. AI isn't fallen angels. It isn't anything more than software code. It's ginormous databases, gigabits and gigabits of large language models that have reasoning software that use what they call a neural network. They have taken what the human brain uses, and they have made it, and they have software that sits and thinks. It's a software tool. Now, what people make of it, wiping out humanity, wiping out jobs, making all that, that's the stuff that's evil. But it's something that can't be stopped at this point. And it's just leading us further and further into a place we all want to be, which is the end. We want to be into a place where our Messiah comes and calls us out of the cesspool that has become just a cesspool. A lot of us may not make it out. With the pollutions and the poisons and the garbage they're dumping on us day after day, a lot of us may not make it out. We have to be very aware that our time is going to be limited. This is why people are dying at 8 years old now. People are dying younger and younger and younger. It's just what it is. We got to be alert and aware. Now, 35. Did not the beings of the righteous also ask question of these in their rooms, saying, how long shall I have expectancy in this way? When does the reward of our harvest come? And to these Uriel, the chief messenger, answered them and said, when the number of seeds has been filled in you, for he has weighed the world in the balance. By measure he has measured the times, and by number he has measured the times. And he does not move nor stir them until the said measure is filled. Then I answered and said, O Yahuwah who reigns, we are all full of unrighteousness, and possibly it is for our sake that the floors of the righteous are not filled because of the sins of those who dwell on the earth. So he answered me and said, Go your way to a woman with child, and ask her when she has completed her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. Then I said, No, master, she cannot. And he said to me, The rooms of beings in the grave are like the womb of a woman. For as a woman in childbirth hastens to escape the necessity of the childbirth, even so do these places hasten to deliver those who are entrusted to them. From the beginning, look what you desire to see. It shall be shown you. Then I answered and said, If I have found favor in your sight, and if it is possible, and if I am able, show me then whether there is more to come than is past, or more past than is to come. Deep question, right? He doesn't know when the end is going to be. We don't know when the end is going to be. At this point, we only know the timeline that our Creator has said, our 6,000 years. According to this, we are at the edge. Maybe this lifetime, maybe the lifetimes of our kids, but we are at the edge. And you can see as the darkness proceeds over these lands that indeed there is a lot of darkness. And so that is the question, is from Ezra and back at 4,000 years ago. Is there more to come or more to pass? Well, right now we've seen this. There was more to come. So we actually know the answer to this because we have been privileged to have scriptures like this that we can read. 46. What is past I know, but what is to come I do not know. And he said to me, Stand on the right, and I shall explain the parable to you. So I stood and looked, and see, a hot burning torch passed before me, and it came to be that when the flame had passed, I looked, and see, the smoke still remained. After this, there passed before me a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with the storm. And when the stormy rain had passed, the drops still remained. Then he said to me, Consider for yourself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke, so the quantity which is passed is greater, but the drops and the smoke remained. Then I prayed and said, Do you think I shall live until that time? Or what shall come to be in those days? He answered me and said, As for the signs which you ask me, I may tell you of them in part. But regarding your life, I am not sent to show you, for I do not know it. There's a lot of stuff that we can get from this chapter. This was one of the most meaty chapters so far that we have had in the book of Ezra, where either the first book or the second book, because we're getting a glimpse into the future and we're getting a glimpse into the world. And this is an incredible time. This is an incredible passage. These are things that we won't know from any other scriptures. We will not know from any other time. And it is something that all of us need to be astute in our Torah work. We need to be reading our scriptures day in and day out. We need to be writing it on the hearts, minds, and souls of our family. And we need to make sure that we are the people of the future who are the chosen ones of the Most High. So guys, with that, I'm going to leave this one. This was a pretty deep subject. I thank you all for listening in. I thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you for everybody who's helped purchase the Yah Scriptures, everybody who reads their scriptures. Thank you for being a part of Elohim's kingdom. Much love to you all. I'm out.